Have you ever had one of those days? You know, that day when you're on your third load of laundry, the youngest is crying because they want attention, the middle one just spilled juice on the living room floor you cleaned half an hour ago, and all you can manage to whisper as you close your eyes for just a second is, "Lord, have mercy on me." Maybe today is that day for you, and if it is, before we go any further, I want to invite you to something. If this conversation touches your heart, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, and think about that one friend, that mom, you know who's struggling in silence. Share this video with her. Sometimes we just need to know we're not alone in this fight. Because here's the thing, something paradoxical happens in these moments of total exhaustion. The world around us screams that we need to be strong all the time. Strong moms, empowered women, always in control. But God, He whispers something completely different. Let me be your strength. Have you ever stopped to think about why He sometimes allows the desert in our lives? It's not punishment. It's not because you did something wrong or because your faith is too weak. It's because there's something that comfort will never bring you. Total dependence on His presence. And it's precisely in that barren place, when you have nothing left to give, that you discover who truly sustains you. Think with me for a moment. When was the last time you turned on your bedroom light in the middle of the night? Maybe to get one of the little ones who woke up with a nightmare. You flip the switch and, surprise, that corner you've been ignoring for weeks appears right in front of your face. The clothes you were going to fold later, the toys you'd pick up tomorrow, that pile of papers you don't even know what they are anymore. The light revealed the mess. And you know what happens when God turns on the light in our souls? It's exactly like that, except it hurts more. Because it's not unfolded clothes that appear. It's pride. It's impatience. It's that tone of voice you used with your kids this morning that you're still feeling guilty about. It's the spiritual exhaustion you've been carrying around like a heavy coat you can't take off. But here's the part that changes everything. When a woman sees herself as small before God, when she finally stops pretending everything's okay, something extraordinary happens. Devotional time is no longer those 15 minutes she should do before the kids wake up. It becomes a real encounter, desperate, honest. It's you saying, "Lord, I need you," not as a concept, like air. How many of you know that moment? You're making breakfast, trying to do 3 things at once. One child wants pancakes, another wants cereal, another decided that today they're not eating anything, and in the middle of this chaos, you're praying. Not those pretty church prayers, but that urgent kind of prayer. Jesus, help me not to lose my patience. Help me love them the way you love me. That's it. That's the encounter with God in the midst of chaos. Because look, when David cried out in Psalm 51, "Have mercy on me, O God," he wasn't negotiating. He didn't say, "Lord, if you forgive me, I promise I'll do this and that." He simply surrendered, fell to his knees, admitted he was completely lost without divine mercy. And that's what so many of us forget in the middle of our impossible routine. Grace is not the answer to our effort. Grace is the starting point of our faith. Let me ask you something. Last night, when you finally got into bed, exhausted, after washing the last dish, checking that the doors were locked, preparing tomorrow's lunches, did you pray? Maybe it was just a sigh. Maybe it was tears on the pillow. Maybe you couldn't even form words. You just felt that weight in your chest and thought, "I can't do this alone." Did you know that's already an act of faith? That silent request, that admission that you're at your limit, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. That's you lifting your eyes in the middle of the storm and recognizing, He cares for me. Even when everything seems to be falling apart, He is here. The cry that comes from grace is different from the cry that comes from fear. Fear shouts, grace whispers. Fear says, "I need to impress God so He'll hear me." Grace says, "He's already here, waiting for me to stop trying to do everything alone." You know what the most beautiful part of all this is? Grace doesn't just answer, it anticipates. Even before you form the words, even before you realize you need help, God was already preparing the comfort, already providing the answer, already sustaining you. It's like when your child is learning to walk. They don't know it, but you're already there, arms outstretched, ready to catch them if they fall. They think they're walking alone, but you never took your eyes off them. You were there the whole time. God is like that with us. But there's something else we need to understand, and this might surprise you. Even the good things we do, even our best, needs God's grace. Think about that Sunday morning when you woke up early to make a special breakfast for the family. Pancakes, bacon, eggs, fresh fruit, freshly squeezed orange juice. You set the table beautifully, lit a candle. It looked perfect. But in the middle of the process, the kids started fighting. Your husband was on the phone dealing with something from work. Nobody noticed your effort, and that feeling started growing inside you. Irritation, resentment. Why do I do this if nobody appreciates it? The gesture was beautiful, but your heart was mixed with expectations, with a desire for recognition, with a little bit of wounded pride. And it's okay to admit that, because even our best gestures carry a bit of our imperfect humanity. Even our most sincere prayers have traces of selfishness. Even our most dedicated service can have motivations that aren't completely pure. That's why when we read about Christ's blood being sprinkled not just on the doorposts of houses in Exodus, but also on the altar, on the place of service and worship, we understand something profound. Even our best needs redemption. You don't have to be the perfect mom. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day to have your flawless quiet time. What God looks for isn't performance. He looks for sincere hearts. Hearts that say, Lord, even my good intentions need your touch. Even my best isn't enough without you. This shouldn't discourage you. Actually, this should set you free. Because if even our best needs grace, then we can stop trying to be perfect. We can rest. We can admit that we're tired, that we had a horrible day, that we yelled at the kids and now we're feeling terrible. We can bring all of this to the foot of the cross and say, Jesus, I need you to purify even what I thought I was doing right. And it's exactly there, at that point of total vulnerability, that Christ's forgiveness becomes more than a doctrine. It becomes air in your lungs. How many of you know that weight of guilt? I'm not talking about light guilt, the kind that passes quickly. I'm talking about that weight that crushes your chest. That voice that won't stop whispering, you're not good enough. You failed as a mom. You should have been more patient. You should have prayed more. You should have... And your mind starts that endless cycle of what ifs. What if I had reacted differently? What if I had dedicated more time? What if I hadn't said that? But it's precisely in this moment of greatest weight that the gospel whispers the most liberating truth that exists. Forgiveness is not a reward for good performance. It's a gift of grace. You don't earn God's forgiveness by being good enough. You receive God's forgiveness because Jesus was already good enough for you. Let that sink into your heart for a moment. When you approach Jesus with a broken heart, when you come with your failures, your mistakes, your nights when you lost your patience, what you find is not a God with crossed arms waiting to remind you of everything you did wrong. You find a Savior who says, I know, I saw, I carried that for you. Now rest. The forgiveness that comes from the cross doesn't just clean the past, it redefines the present. You don't have to wake up every day trying to prove your worth anymore. You're already loved. You don't have to earn God's love. You already have it, completely, without conditions, without reservations. It's like taking a deep breath after a long storm. The soul finds the sun again, and when that peace comes, when you truly understand that you're forgiven, something new begins to sprout. A joy. Not that superficial joy, the kind that depends on everything going well, but a deep joy, anchored, that comes from having been healed by God. David wrote about this. He said in Psalm 51:8, "Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice." Do you see the image? The bones that were crushed now dance. The pain that was redeemed transforms into song, because there's a joy that only comes after healed weeping. It's the joy of someone who went through the long night and saw the dawn. It's the joy of someone who carried the guilt and discovered that Jesus had already carried it all. It's the joy of someone who felt alone and discovered they never were. This joy changes the way you live. Suddenly, those chaotic moments of motherhood gain a new flavor. You're still tired. Yes, you still have difficult days, of course, but now there's a peace underneath everything. A certainty that you're not doing this alone, that He's with you on the third load of laundry. He's with you when you're making dinner for the 1000th time. He's with you in those desperate prayers at 3 a.m. when your child's fever won't go down. Your home becomes a sanctuary, not because it's always clean or organized, but because it's where you encounter God in ordinary moments. It's where the whispers of heaven echo between breakfast and bedtime prayers. What was once pain is now strength. What was once exhaustion is now faith to start again. You transform your falls into testimonies of grace. Your routine becomes continual prayer. So let me ask you something, because now we've reached that crucial point. Did you feel the weight of your own insufficiency today as we talked? Did you recognize that voice that says, "I can't do this"? Did you remember those moments when all you had was a desperate cry? Now, the real question: how will you allow God to transform that desperation into renewal? What concrete actions can you take today, right now, to surrender your struggles and truly trust in the grace that sustains? Could it be that it's time to stop? Stop trying to rely only on your own strength. Stop pretending you can do everything alone. Stop carrying that weight that was never yours to carry. Think about your routine, the challenges you're going to face tomorrow, those moments when you feel alone, overwhelmed, insufficient. What would your life be like if every gesture, every tired step, every desperate prayer were sustained by the absolute certainty that God cares for you? Not as a nice concept, but as a living, tangible, present reality. What if every devotional moment, every verse you read, every prayer you pray, weren't just items on a list of things a good Christian should do, but real instruments of transformation? What if your weakness, instead of being something you need to hide, were exactly the place where God's strength manifests most powerfully? You don't have to wait to be strong to come to Him. You come weak, and He makes you strong. You come tired, and He gives you rest. You come with empty hands, and He fills them with grace. So today, right now, I want to invite you to do something. If this message touched your heart, if you felt that you weren't alone in this struggle, leave your comment down below. Tell me, which part of God's mercy do you need to embrace right now? Is it forgiveness? Is it the certainty that He sustains you? Is it the freedom of not having to be perfect? Share your story. Because when you share, you don't just strengthen your own faith. You encourage another mom who's reading the comments, feeling alone, thinking she's the only one going through this. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Because these conversations, these moments when we stop to breathe and remember grace, they need to continue. You need these reminders. We all need them. Because at the end of the day, the most beautiful and liberating truth that exists is this: when only God's mercy sustains us, we discover that God's mercy is all we need. It always has been enough. It always will be. And today, at this exact moment, it's sustaining you. You may not see it. You may not feel it, but it's there. Invisible, but real. Silent, but powerful. Holding you up when you think you're going to fall. It's not weakness to need God. It's wisdom. It's the place where true strength begins.